What's up, guys? How are you? It's a Fight Song Friday for the Bostonian versus the book. I'm Matt Peralta. We're live on YouTube and on Twitter, X, replayed on Sports Grid Television and audio podcasts, wherever you guys get your audio podcasts. We are loaded today. Not only is it a Fight Song Friday, gigantic weekend of NFL football to get into. We've got baseball, we have hockey, and we have what happened last night in Philadelphia. In Los Angeles to Philadelphia. We have the football game from last night to get into with the Giants and their victory. We've got a game 5 tonight in Major League Baseball. We have a game 5 tomorrow night in Major League Baseball. A ton to get into here on the program. Thank you for being here. We go rocketing out of the gate right into the opening line. Opening line, and I had no idea what was about to happen to the city of Philadelphia. I had no idea. Wednesday, I had no idea when I had a chance to compare the city of Philadelphia to the city of Boston in 2003. I didn't think we were going to have a Bill Buckner moment. I didn't think we were going to have that. I wasn't expecting to be talking about Bill. Rest in peace to Bill Buckner, but I didn't think we were going to have that. Really? The Phillies had their own Bill Buckner moment last night. I don't know what happened last night. I don't know how that went down in the 11th inning of a game 4 in which the Phillies had to win to keep their season alive. I mean, how do you suffer through that after watching 165 games? You go to game 166. You're watching your team. It's 1-1. You have taken Shohei Ohtani completely out of the entire series. Shohei has one hit the whole series. He can't do anything. You're feeling great. Their best hitter, maybe the best player of all time, has not hurt the Phillies at all. You have a bullpen that has done really well, has shut down the Dodgers. You're thinking you're going to force this. You're going to get them back to game 5 in Philadelphia. You win game 4, you move on to game 5, and who knows what happens. It's in your ballpark. It's your whole season riding. What did Kirk King do? What happened? How does that play happen? Pages is the worst hitter for the Dodgers. He's batting 9th. He's done nothing. He's been completely ineffective. The bases are loaded. A trickler back to home plate. It's a little league play, right? Yield the ball, turn to first base, and throw the ball to first base. Why did he go home? I mean, the numbers are amazing. The stats are incredible. When you look at this, the one on your right, that's the actual play. Okay, that's the actual play. As to you see JT Realmuto pointing to first base, saying, throw the ball there. Don't throw the ball home. Throw it to the right. Or the left, I guess is left. Throw it to the left. Throw it to first base. We get out of the inning. It's 1-1. We're going to the 12th. We're still alive. Kerkering then picks the ball up. Him, who is running as a pinch runner from third base, he's 30 feet from home base. Pages is 55 feet from first. He's 55 feet. What are we doing? Throwing it home. Why? What in the name of panic was that play? That was just, oh no, what do I do? What do I do? How do I handle this? Where do I go with the baseball? And you throw it home. Not only do you throw it home, you throw it over Realmuto's head. He has no shot. It's a force play. It's a force play. Bases are loaded. You throw it. If it's caught by JT Realmuto, maybe he touches home plate. Maybe he gets out of it. I mean, of all the things that could go wrong, it's the first time in the history of Major League Baseball that a team has a walk-off error in a deciding game. I mean, even the Red Sox, even when Bill Buckner in the 1986 World Series, even when Buckner let the ball from Mookie Blaylock go through his legs and Ray Knight scored. Even that play, that was game 6. That wasn't game 7. That was game 6. That decided game 6. The Red Sox still played game 7 and they lost. It wasn't the end. Buckner's error wasn't the end of the series. The Red Sox still had a chance to win that in 7. They lost, but they had a shot. The Phillies had their season end on that. It was history last night. That was the worst day ever for a city. Here is the history for a city to have their NHL team lose 2-1 to the Florida Panthers. Their NFL team lose. The Giants dismantled the Eagles. More on them in a second. And then the Dodgers beating the Phillies to have their team be eliminated, lose in the playoffs, and be bounced on the same day. It happened in 1983 to the city of Philadelphia. And then it happened last night to the city of Philadelphia. No other city in American professional sports has endured and suffered through those 3 things happening all on the same damn day. So if you've got a buddy, a friend, or somebody who last night was texting you all sorts of craziness because they were drunk, yep, they had every reason and every right to be able to go and do so. Because that night last night, I'll never understand what happened in that moment. And again, you can't blame JT Realmuto. Look what he's doing. He's pointing to first base. He's telling the pitcher, don't throw it to me, throw it to first base. And Kirkring did not. He then attempted to throw the ball for some ridiculous reason. Again, I had no idea that when we compared the two, that this would be the conversation point. The Flyers are the Flyers. Like, who cares? It's hockey. It's game 1 or whatever it was. Game 1, I believe, for the Flyers. So that's not a big of a deal. The football thing is a big deal. Football thing is a much bigger deal, a much bigger problem. Let's talk about what happened last night. I mean, if you are a Philadelphia fan, it was bad enough that your baseball team choked on a game they had to win and an error sends you home. But then the Eagles got blasted by the Giants, 34-17. Philly was a 7.5-point favorite in that game. They're now 4-2 on the year. And afterwards, in the wake of this, so many questions. Questions about the offense. Questions about Jalen Hurts. Question about the defense. And look, Jalen Carter didn't play last night, so that's significant. There are a lot of issues in that locker room. On the sideline, during the fourth quarter, after the game was well out of reach, you saw A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith looking very pissed off and sad and angry on the sidelines. And after the game, when asked about the meeting that we had referenced yesterday, that I thought the Eagles were going to play really well because we had heard that all the big names, Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, they had all gotten together to have a meeting about what was happening with the offense and how they were going to try to fix it. After the game, A.J. Brown had no knowledge of that meeting. How's that possible? So the 3 of them who, again, they all confirmed that they had that meeting. Jalen Hurts confirmed it. So did Saquon Barkley. So did Devontae Smith. They all confirmed that they had this meeting, that they all sat down and talked about what has to happen going forward. And A.J. Brown said, yeah, that didn't involve me. I have no knowledge of that. That's a little bit of a problem, boys and girls. That's a little bit of a problem when A.J. Brown got no idea about the quote-unquote team meeting amongst the quote-unquote stars. This is bad. This is really, really bad for the Eagles. And everyone who was last year tied to A.J. Brown are now really tied to rumors around A.J. Brown, namely the Colts and the Patriots. Okay. Talking about teams in the AFC, which would be where the Eagles would want to trade A.J. Brown if you're going to get rid of him. The Patriots with Mike Vrabel, who clearly loves A.J. Brown, would clearly love to have a weapon for Drake May, would be huge. Shane Steichen, the former offensive coordinator for the Eagles, obviously knowing A.J. Brown, would be a great landing spot to go with the first place Indianapolis Colts, to go and have him play for Shane Steichen with Daniel Jones and what this offense is doing right now in Indianapolis. Those are your two big options. Yes, I completely agree. Go get them. If you're the Patriots, you have the cap space, go get them. 100% go get them. But that's the Patriot fan in me talking. I would love to see it. Yeah, AJ and Diggs would be amazing on either side. Yes. Yes. But do the Eagles have to make a trade? Maybe. But you saw Cam Skubal do to that defense. That was more than just one player. That was more than just an A.J. Brown problem. That was a whole defensive scheme problem. 3 touchdowns rushing for Cam Skubal, who is becoming very quickly the new Gronk of the NFL. Like, everybody loved Gronk because Gronk was like this like lovable teddy bear idiot that he just, I saw it multiple times last night. The Giants are being called Team CTE, which is not really a funny joke, but it's a joke and it's funny on some levels. Skubal is a bowling ball. He's a menace. He went on the post-game press conference or the post-game podium on Amazon and ripped his shirt off. I mean, he's nuts. And people love him for it. Same way they love Gronk when Gronk was nuts. So Skubal is a guy that is easy to root for because he just loves the ball. Like, he's just a football player through and through. He loves the game of football. And in New York, when you play like that, people are going to gravitate towards you. Jackson Dart's now 2-1 on the year. They lost to the Saints on the road, but they have 2 wins at home. And that, obviously, as a rookie, it's easier to play at home. There's going to be a gigantic investigation into what happened with the concussion protocol, whatever you want to call it, going on for the injury to Jackson Dart, in which you saw on the sidelines the independent neurologist getting yelled at by Brian Daboll. You really can't do that. Like, Brian Daboll's trying to protect his job. I get it. Brian Daboll wants to win football games and justify his existence and show that he can be the head coach of the Giants. But you can't be seen yelling at a doctor who's trying to figure out whether or not your young quarterback, your rookie quarterback, has a concussion, regardless if he wants to play or not. That was a bad look for the Giants and a bad look for Brian Daboll. So we'll see what happens next. There's going to be an investigation. Adam Schefter reported this morning, there's going to be an investigation into how that went down and what was said to who and when from a Giant perspective. So, and look, Jackson Dart is a guy I liked a lot going into the draft. You guys remember when we talked to Debro from Betting Pros and Fantasy Pros, both of us thought he'd go in the top 20. We liked his game a lot. The Giants, it fell to the Giants, and I'm excited to see what happens with him this year, because I do think he could be a really fun quarterback in this league, but he's going to have to learn how to slide. And if he doesn't learn how to slide, he's not going to be around for long. Like, he can't take hits like this. In the NFL, you just don't last taking the hits that he took. And through 3 weeks, he's taken a dramatic number of hits from the quarterback position. So you could be like Skubal if you want, but running back versus quarterback are 2 very different things. So, but Jackson Dart played really well, and you just got to give him credit. On the flip side, Jalen Hurts, I mean, that interception that he threw in the 4th quarter was inexcusable. Like, it iced the game for the Giants. It was the wrong read. It was a bad throw, and it just compounded everything that happened to Jalen Hurts last night. Like, that is not an offense that's being run well at the moment. And I talked about this going into the season. It's why I bet the Cowboys to win the NFC East, and everybody told me I was crazy. You watched that game last night. You guys, Brigade, you guys tell me, does that running game look like the same running game from last year? Does Saquon Barkley look like the same back that he was last year when he ran for 2,000 yards? It takes a lot out of you. It might take him a year plus to recover, or he might never recover from the amount of usage he had last year to win a Super Bowl. Would he trade the rest of his career for last season? I think the answer would be yes. I think he 100% would be huge for it. And if you look at where this team has been built, I mean, look, the tush push is going to be eliminated in some form or fashion. I don't know if they actually write it out of the rules or they just flag the false start every time, because they false start every time. And that's a huge weapon for this team. It maybe is their most deadly weapon at the moment. But Jalen Hurts is clearly not comfortable in this offense, and Jalen Hurts is clearly missing receivers all over the place. I've seen multiple breakdowns from people with film study today about the number of wide receivers blatantly missed by Jalen Hurts, either wide open, running for touchdowns, game-changing plays, must pick up first downs, or intercepted. It was only, the one pick that he threw was the first one last night. He's in trouble. Yeah, if you make Hurts throw, you'll win the football game. Yes, and the NFL is very quickly figuring that out. And if Saquon Barkley can't run, because this is the what caused last year to be so good for the Eagles was the play action, because you couldn't stop Saquon. So if you can't stop the running game, there is where you have the rub. You go ahead and play action, and now you have open receivers, easy throws for Jalen Hurts. He doesn't have to read a defense. It's a one read, go ahead and throw. Look, I know, Seth, there's a lot of people in Philadelphia that are blaming the offensive coordinator, but I have seen a lot of breakdowns. Emmanuel Ocho did a really good breakdown last night as to it's not scheme, it's quarterback. The scheme is fine. It's the quarterback play that's really becoming a problem. It's all on Jalen Hurts. It's not so much about the offense and the play calling. It's the fact that the wide receivers are open and the quarterback is missing him consistently. But take the interception. Ocho did a great job of breaking down where the ball should have gone. He had A.J. Brown on a post route wide open in the end zone. It was cover zero. And you had the safety come down to pick up the tight end, leaving the middle of the field wide open for an easy throw. And he tried to go to the outside to Devontae Smith, and it got picked off. So that's a really big problem. The tush push, look, I don't like it. I've never liked it, but it is part of the rules. It is part of football. I just don't like the fact that the referees are allowing the Eagles to consistently get away with false starts. That can't happen. The rest of the year, that can't happen. Okay. It just can't. It has to be fair. You can't cheat. Okay. That's cheating. False starts, letting your guards fire off the ball faster than anybody else and before the football is snapped. That is basic football. That's basic cheating. It's wrong. The referees need to be on it, and it needs to be flagged consistently, because all it takes is one false start flag and that play goes away, because now you're 5 yards back and you can't do that play. So that's why it's so significant, and that's why people are so angry about what is going on with this. That's my problem with all of this, is the play itself, fine. You can argue all you want about whether the play is legal or not, or good for football or not. That's fine. I'll take it. I'm not okay with the fact that the guard on either side or the tackles are allowed to fire off the ball early. That has to be flagged. That has to be stopped by the NFL. It wouldn't have changed the outcome last night. The Giants killed the Eagles, killed them. The Cowboys, more on them later in the show. The Cowboys have a huge game against the Panthers in the professionals, like Carolina. If the Cowboys can win this game, though, they go to 3-2-1. All right. 4-2 Eagles, 3-2-1 Cowboys, and 4-2-1 if they win that game at home. And now the race is on for the division. The Eagles are going in the wrong way fast. Okay. They won 4 games, but they were very lucky to win those games. And they knew it, and they know it. And they're talking about it publicly, that we were lucky to win 4 games. Now we've lost 2 in a row, and we got to find ourselves quick, because we have a championship schedule, and it's not going to get any easier for the Philadelphia Eagles. And they play in a very difficult division with Washington and now the Giants and the Cowboys, who do not take any, take it easy on the Philadelphia Eagles. Game on. 7-1 ticket on the Cowboys to win the division. Game on for the Dallas Cowboys. The other baseball game was the Cubs forcing a game 5 last night. We're going to have it in Milwaukee tomorrow night. A 6-0 loss for the Brewers, who Matthew Boyd at home versus Matthew Boyd on the road, night and day. Matthew Boyd was awesome last night for the Cubs. Brewers couldn't do anything. Brewers couldn't get a timely hit, but their bullpen came in and got lit up as well. That game could have been 8-0, had a 2-run home run taken off the board because it's Wrigley and they couldn't figure out which side of the foul pole that 2-run home run was, but I think it was the right call by calling it a foul ball. It didn't matter. The Brewers weren't doing anything, and now they've got a huge game coming up tomorrow night. I've got a 27-1 ticket on the Brewers. I have a 7-1 ticket on the Cubs to win the National League. So it doesn't entirely matter who wins it, because I'm really concerned about the Dodgers, to be quite honest. And I don't know who exactly is going to knock off the Dodgers, given how good they have looked in this series. But yeah, Brandon Rincon, you're right. The Brewers have been exposed a little bit here in this series, but going on the road and losing games in the playoffs on the road and then winning 2 games at home, I don't know. Let's see what happens. Oh, do me a favor. By the way, tell me, and if anybody wants to count this, tell me if I am freezing more or less than normal. So I have gone and purchased, if you guys remember when I was in New Hampshire, the system that Amanda had on her internet, I have that at my house now. So we should not be dealing with freezing. We should not be dealing, although StreamYard was acting a little funky this morning when I logged on. So again, if I find a different system, one time today so far. Okay. Thanks, Jimmy. Okay. It's been once. If I find a better system for doing the show, I'll get off of StreamYard because I'm furious with them. I mean, I most of the issues, my internet can't be faster than it is right now. I have obscene speeds now for my internet. So there shouldn't be any issues whatsoever. It took me a long time to do this. I waited for the Amazon Prime Day and I got the system at a reduced price. So it still was multiple hundreds of dollars, though. Like, don't get me wrong. It wasn't cheap, but I have now hopefully rectified. There should be no issue on my end. Any freezing going on is on their end, not on my end. So one freeze so far. Hopefully that's not going to be something we deal with. It should be very quick and very infrequent if that ends up actually happening for us, because I have hopefully fixed the issue. It is a Fight Song Friday. Oh, what a big college football weekend do we have. Let's get into it. Let's start talking about the Red River rivalry. This game's wild. This game is so interesting. So, is John Mateer going to play? The quarterback for Oklahoma, who was the odds-on favorite to win the Heisman before he broke his thumb. 17 days ago, he had surgery to repair the broken thumb. All of a sudden, the rumor mill started to trickle that John Mateer was petitioning to play, telling Oklahoma, "Hey, I'm ready to go. I want to play." The number has flipped. It was Texas -1 earlier in the week. It's now Oklahoma -1. The total was 43.5. The total now is 44.5, and it's climbing. John Mateer playing in this game would be wild. But you know what also might be wild? Could this be a head fake? Like, are we buying this? Is this what we're going to jump in on? That is a Thursday injury report from yesterday, posted at 7 o'clock Central Time. John Mateer, probable quarterback, Oklahoma, to play in the Red River rivalry. Are we 100% on board that this is real, that John Mateer is going to play? Because wouldn't it be wild? Wouldn't it be so crazy if Oklahoma was lying? Because there's no punishment for lying. This is your biggest rival. This is your biggest rivalry game. This is going to the State Fair of Texas and half burnt orange and half maroon and cream. And there's gamesmanship all over the place. Do we buy that? I'm not sure I buy it, but the gambling world's buying it because the number flipped. So if you buy the bettors, they believe it's real. They believe that this is actually real. So, Joseph, there are no rules as to, you could say he was profitable. I mean, you can dress John Mateer. You can put him in pads and have absolutely no intention of him playing. I mean, yes, if they said he would be out, but you don't have to do that. You can say probable, and you could have him play a single snap. You could have him play one game or one snap in the game, and then he played. Like, we like the idea of having an injury report as gamblers because we want to know who is playing and who is not. And with the most important position, if John Mateer plays in the Red River, it changes everything. I mean, he arguably is the best player in college football. So if you have him on the field as a Sooner fan or a Sooner backer, you feel way better about this, because I don't know how much the offense for Texas will produce up against a top 15, top 20 defense in Oklahoma. I mean, we have seen it so far. The Arch Manning experiment has not worked. It didn't work at Ohio State. It did not work at Florida. And now you're going to a neutral for the Red River, where this is a gigantic game for Arch Manning. He needs to perform. He needs to deliver. He needs to win. This is a game he needs to win. So this is a very interesting game. I'm not sure you can bet it until you see what John Mateer looks like. If he's in the game, you have to like Oklahoma. You absolutely have to like Oklahoma if John Mateer is playing. But he has a broken thumb on his throwing hand that just had surgery 17 days ago. I'm doing this show today for the first time in 5 weeks without my brace on. Okay. Now, a hand surgery versus a pec repair surgery, I don't know which is more painful. Okay. I'm not sure which is more problematic, but I'm just now, 5 weeks later, I am just now kind of getting back to being able to use my hand and use my arm. Like right now, here is my shoulder. Like, I'm not going to lie to you guys. It hurts today to do the show without this on. Doesn't feel good. Doesn't hurt like, oh my gosh, I'm in so much pain, but it doesn't feel good. I couldn't go out there and like run around and like play a game, play a sport. Again, it's your hand versus your pec muscle. So it's two different injuries, but you get my point. 17 days ago was 2.5 weeks. He had surgery 2.5 weeks ago. The wound is barely healed from the surgery. Forget being able to use the thumb. Forget rehabbing the thumb. I mean, my God. If he's out, do I like the under? yes. I mean, I think I like the under anyway, Chris. I think the play of the game is the under. I think you let this thing climb, and if it goes to 45.5 or higher, I think the under is the play in the game regardless, because I don't think Texas scores on OU's defense. And on the flip side, even if John Mateer is playing, how effective is he going to be? I mean, can he even hand the ball off? I've seen it before where quarterbacks have injured wrists or injured elbows, and they use their other hand to hand off. So they can't hand off with their right hand. So they use their left hand for everything. And it can be somewhat problematic when that happens because you're not used to it. It's, when you're going to the left, you hand off with your right normally. So you'd hand off with the left hand. You'd hand off going left. You'd hand it off with your left, which can be fumbles, problems. I don't know. Obviously, yes, there's, if you're younger, you do way better. I understand that. And it's easier. Cortisone shots, absolutely. It's a must watch, but right now, pre-flop, I think you're right, Fish Killer. I think you got to be careful about betting this game pre-flop. I'm not sure I'm jumping up and down. I think the under, if I'm betting it right now, I'm taking the under here with that. The number one team in the country is on the road going to Illinois. 14.5 point favorite. Ohio State's 14.5-point favorites on the road against Illinois. The total for this game is 51. Ohio State's defense has been tremendous this year and over the last couple of years. Over the last 27 regular season games for Ohio State, they have not given up more than 17 points in 25 of those 27 games, including the last time they went on the road to Washington, in which they did not allow Washington even to get double digits in that game. I would expect a very similar thing here with this. I don't mind the under in this game at 51. I know Illinois has been putting up numbers, and Illinois has been pretty impressive, but I like Ohio State's defense in this game, and I would be inclined to lay the 14.5 points because I do think that Sayin and company are going to be able to score in the 20s, and I'm not sure Illinois scores more than 10 to 14 points in this game. It's just the way this Ohio State Buckeye defense has been rolling. It's really hard to move the ball. It's really hard to go up against them. And look, Illinois against Iowa didn't do a lot. Okay. So I am more inclined to say this is going to be a lower scoring game, a lower scoring battle between these two. It's an early start time as well. It's a noon kick, the big noon kickoff. The Illini, sorry, excuse me. No, I'm thinking of wrong game. Sorry. I'm not thinking of, they haven't played Iowa yet. Who am I thinking of? Indiana. Sorry, not Iowa, Indiana. Different Big Ten team, wrong eye. 43-27, the win on the road last week for Illinois. Minnesota 42-3, the win for Ohio State last week. The only road game was 24-6 against Washington. The defense for the Illini for Ohio State has given up 7, 0, 9, 6, and 3 points so far this year. I don't think the Illini are going to score, even though they scored 43 against Purdue, 34 against USC, 10. They lost 63-10 to Indiana, and they beat Western Michigan, and they beat Iowa, beat Duke 45-19, 38-0. I think the under. I think Ohio State takes care of business. I'm not sure I'm laying 14.5 points, but I do think the under is a decent play to jump in. Speaking of road trips, Alabama's back on the road. Number 8, Alabama on the road to number 14, Missouri. The total is 51.5. The Tide were favored by 3.5 earlier in the week. It's down to 3. There is big Missouri money here that Missouri will take care of business at home against Alabama, a Crimson Tide team that under Kellen DeBoer has not played well on the road. They lost their first game of the year on the road to Florida State. And here are the Tide again on the road. They beat Georgia 24-21. That was the big one. Beat Vanderbilt 30-14 last week. And everybody said, my gosh, Ty Simpson's playing as well as anybody else in the country. Somebody said, and I forget who it is, and I apologize for the quote because it's a good one and whoever said it, but somebody said, if Ty Simpson was named a Manning, if his name was Ty Manning, Ty Simpson would already be your Heisman Trophy winner. Like, it would not even be a fair fight. It would be over. That Ty Simpson would win the award going away with the numbers he has put up. 13 touchdowns to 1 interception. He has completed 111 of his 158 passes. He's thrown for 1,500 yards so far in 5 games for Alabama. The Tide are 2-0 in the SEC, and they face a Missouri team that beat up on my alma mater in their last game, UMass, 42-6. They're off a bye, which is big. They beat South Carolina at home in their only SEC game, 29-20. They beat KU 42-31, which is a big rivalry game, obviously, with the border war. So they have, that scalp, and they're 5-0. Okay. They're 5-0, but they haven't played the caliber of competition that Alabama has played. Bama's question is the run for Missouri. Alabama has not done a great job stopping the run. Georgia ran the football for 7 yards a clip against them. Alabama is going to see a Missouri rushing attack that's averaging over 200 yards per game. Florida State, with Tommy Castellanos and the running game for Florida State. Huge problem for that Tide defense. They could not stop the run to save their life. So what happens here with FSU and Georgia's success? Does Missouri have it as well? If they do, if Missouri does have the same success, they can win the football game. But if Bama can stop the run, Alabama wins the game and Alabama covers. Like, I really think it comes down to that. It's going to be a beautiful day in Missouri. Good. That's good. So it's not going to be a run game. It's going to be a passing game. I like Bama's offense. These are games in which Kellen DeBoer has done very well in. Just like last week against Vanderbilt, where they lose to teams they're not supposed to lose to, like Florida State, right? That's been the Kellen DeBoer bugaboo. Not the teams that have been ranked, not the teams that Alabama goes in there with their full attention under Kellen DeBoer. And right now, Ty Simpson is my Heisman Trophy winner. I know everyone's talking about Mateer, but my Heisman Trophy winner, I'm taking Ty Simpson. Give me the Tide. Tide laying 3. I'm good. Alabama to get a big W on the road against Missouri. I like the Crimson Tide to go there and get a win coming up on Saturday for tomorrow. The game of the day in the Big Ten. Oh, this is going to be fun. How good is Indiana? Because as of right now, and we don't have a fight song for Oregon yet. I need to get a fight song for Oregon. We'll do that for next week. I'm back with both of my hands, so I can do editing now. I think this game is going to be absolutely awesome. Indiana. This number was 9. It's now down to 7. Oregon has been tremendous. Indiana's schedule strength really isn't comparable, but it's only one game that really separates. And that was the last game for Oregon when they went on the road and they took care of business up against Penn State. Both these teams are coming off of byes. Indiana's been probably the most surprising team this year. Their offense has been hanging huge numbers. They've scored 20-15, only 20 points last week or last time out in 2 weeks ago against Iowa, but 63, 73, and 56. Now it's Indiana State and it's Kennesaw. So, okay. And it's Old Dominion that scored 27 points against. Okay, fine. Oregon won the game in overtime against Penn State 30-24. They beat Oregon State 41-7. They beat Northwestern 34-14. My question is going to come down to Indiana's offense against Oregon's defense, because Oregon's defense has been, it's not as good as Ohio State's, but it's pretty darn good. And 3 points against Oklahoma State, 14 points against Northwestern, 7 points against Oregon State, and 24 points, although those points were scored in overtime, up against Penn State. I am not going to bet this game. If I was going to bet this game, I would lay the 7 points with Oregon. I do think there's a chance for the Ducks to send a message to the Big Ten and to say, hey, look it. We beat Penn State. We beat Indiana. We're the best team here in the Big Ten. It's a far road trip for Indiana. I know they had a bye, but this is a hike for them to get out there. This is an absolute hike for Oregon to get out there. So I will be very curious to see what happens in the next couple of days, or next couple of hours, I should say, about this number. Where does it go? Because we're at 7. Do we cross 7 and get to 6.5? Like, how much money is going to come in here on the Hoosiers? They are very profitable, or very popular rather, right now with the dog money. If it gets to 6.5, I may change. I may take Oregon minus 6.5. You give me 6, I'm on Oregon 100%. Oregon wins this game. Just a question of how many points are they going to win this game by. I like Oregon minus 6. I love Oregon. 6.5. I like it. 7. I'm a little bit on the hesitant side. I'm a little bit on the questionable side on that. I'm not in love with it. But if you give me 6.5, you give me 7. Yeah, very much so. I am very interested. Fight song for Iowa State. Iowa State's on the road at Colorado. Cyclones laying 3. They are the total at 52. And the question is going to be for Iowa State is, can they bounce back after that loss to Cincinnati last week? And look, at 2-1 in the Big 12, this is an important game for Iowa State. Colorado, how good are the Buffs? There's been some questions about it. It's a 12:30 kickoff Pacific time, 3:30 Eastern time kick here. 2-1 versus 0-3 Colorado in the Big 12. This would be huge for Colorado to get a win here, but Iowa State 38-30, the loss to Cincinnati on the road, second straight road trip here for Iowa State after the win against Arizona, which was really impressive, winning that game 39-14, beating Iowa at home 16-13. Those were flexes. Those had Iowa State ranked highly and people thinking that Matt Campbell's team was going to do big things with Rocco Beck. Rocco Beck's not been bad at the quarterback spot for Iowa State. 9 touchdowns to 2 picks. Salter, the quarterback for Colorado, has got 7 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, but not anywhere near what Shedeur Sanders did last year with this offense. 2 straight losses. First to BYU at home, 24-21. Buffs had a lead in that game, and then BYU kind of swiped it in the later part of the game. And then on the road at TCU, 35-21, the loss. You combine that with the loss to Houston, 36-20 on the road, and this becomes a pivotal hinge game for Colorado. They lose this game, they drop to 0-4 in the Big 12, and things start going really, really negative for the Buffs. It's a big game. Same thing for Iowa State. Iowa State needs to get this victory to get back on the winning ways. I like the Cyclones here. I think the Cyclones will go and take care of business in Colorado. There'll be a lot of people from Ames making the trip over to Colorado to watch this game. Not that bad of a trip for the Cyclones to head on over and their fans. I like Iowa State. I think they'll take care of business and beat Colorado and drop them to 0-4. I think Matt Campbell's team and Rocco Beck going to be able to play on the road and get a really big W coming up. Another game in the Big Ten that has a lot of people's attention involving Michigan. Sorry, hit the wrong button. I was firing the Iowa in the beginning. Big game for Michigan on the road at USC. They are road dogs. The total is 56 for a Michigan game. Whew. Okay. Michigan undefeated in conference play. USC and their offense has been really impressive. They have a good quarterback, UNLV transfer. They have 2 NFL caliber wide receivers, which you would expect here for this team, given the way that they have played, given their talent, what they normally recruit like, the level that USC is expecting to recruit at. But for Michigan, to me, it comes down to their defense. Can they slow down this offense? And can they put up points of their own? Bryce Underwood's had a decent year. Not an unbelievable year, but a decent year. Win against Wisconsin last week was impressive. They beat Nebraska on the road 30-27. That was a big win, a big confidence booster after losing on the road to Oklahoma 24-13 and really doing nothing against that OU defense. Michigan's 4-1 overall, 2-0 in the Big Ten. USC's coming off that loss on the road to Illinois in that crazy back and forth battle that happened last 2 weeks ago. USC off a bye, 34-32 the loss. They beat Michigan State at home, 45-31. They won at Purdue, 33-17. If USC wants to keep themselves in contention, we know that either Oregon or Indiana will go to 3-0. Ohio State will go to 3-0. USC at 2-1 is tied with Illinois at 2-1. Illinois might drop down, obviously, because they're playing Ohio State, so they're going to drop down to 2-2. USC wins this game, they go to 3-1, and they keep themselves in the conversation. Michigan wins this game, and Michigan's in the conversation and keeping themselves right there with a chance to go back to the Big Ten title game, something I have bet. I think Michigan wins. I think Michigan being a dog here is pretty interesting. It's going to come down to Bryce Underwood. You cannot steal. You can't turn the ball over, and you got to wrap up Michigan's defense has got to wrap up with the speed of USC. Okay. Bottom line. And again, this could be a higher scoring game. I think if it gets into a shootout, that would be scary. I would be a little bit concerned on this, but yeah, I don't mind Michigan money line. I really don't. Ish. I think it's a good angle to take it. Yep. Michigan money line. I think this is a big darn deal. The speed, absolutely, Daniel G. The speed will be on USC sideline, other than Underwood. Underwood can fly, but the speed will be there. I just think this is an important game for the defense for Michigan to finally, do what I thought they were going to do. I thought Michigan's defense would be one of the best defenses in the country. They got to go play like it. Okay. Go to California and play like it. If they do, Michigan wins. They'll stay undefeated, but this is going to be, that's a great game. I can't wait to watch that game. Let's go back to the SEC because we got an old friend back at the head coaching position. Arkansas, dead cat bounce. Tennessee, laying 12. Total is 69. Bobby Petrino, he's back. Our friend is back. Razorbacks were 21-5 under Bobby Petrino before he wrecked that motorcycle and got everyone in his business to find out that he'd been having an affair with a staffer. Can they turn the program and the season around by going to Tennessee and winning? No, I don't think they can. Dead cat bounce? No. Sports. They don't work so much in college sports because, well, college is different. The transfer rules are different. The pay of play is different. The NIL is different. I just, no. I don't think that the way that Arkansas team played in their last game in which they got their head coach fired, I cannot for life of me. Yes, Notre Dame is good, but Arkansas just straight up at home laid down, and the Irish destroyed Arkansas so bad that they had to fire Sam Pittman. They had no choice but to fire Sam Pittman. Do I think that Arkansas all of a sudden gets better? No. I don't think Arkansas all of a sudden gets better on this. Finally, one more SEC game to jump into. Ooh, hey, why didn't I? It is the fights. Uh-oh, there we go. That was a freeze. See, how many freeze? Four? Sorry. Over 3.5. Yep. Sorry. Don't know. I honest to gosh, don't know. I think there needs to be a conversation, obviously, with what's going on with this, because it's, when we play these videos like that, that's the most Fight Song Friday videos I've played so far. And since we brought in the Fight Song Friday, normally it's been 2 or 3. So we fired off a bunch. And yeah, I don't know. Internet provider, it's not I don't believe it's the internet. I swear to you guys, it's no longer the internet, because the internet speed is gigantic. It's, I'm flying. This is StreamYard. These are StreamYard freezes for whatever reason. This is not internet stream freezes. So got to figure out a couple things going on with that. But, it can't be, it's not my computer. It's not the RAM, Addison. Computer is a, 1-year-old MacBook Pro with a lot of power. So I think it's StreamYard. I think it's just too many people have used StreamYard over the years, where back in the day, StreamYard was really not a heavily used thing, and now it's used by everybody. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's all, I believe, all there. But okay, both teams off a bye. Brian Kelly needs a W desperately, like absolutely desperately here. The number is 9. It's come down from 10. The total is 44.5. South Carolina, Lenora Sellers was supposed to be a Heisman Trophy candidate. It has not worked out for South Carolina. Things have really gone south for them, no pun intended. They have not performed well on the road. And for LSU, I mean, Brian Kelly just needs to calm down, get the people to calm down around him. There's a lot of anger going on at the moment around LSU about what they'll look like going forward here. And it's been after one loss. Like they lost one game. Now, the Florida game wasn't pretty. They won the game, but it wasn't pretty. This is against Ole Miss, the loss to Ole Miss, the 24-19 loss, and then a bye week happens. And it's been 2 weeks of Tiger fans stewing and wondering and questioning Garrett Nussmeier and whether they have a quarterback and should they let him go to the NFL, right? There's all this talk about get Garrett Nussmeier back and you have a first round pick caliber quarterback. He has not played like it. Okay. He has some weapons, not as much as years past, but things have not gone well for LSU at all. Like bad. I think they blow out South Carolina. I think they take a lot of frustration out on South Carolina. And I'm going to lay the 9. South Carolina in trouble at LSU. LSU, it's a night game at LSU. On top of that, tough place to play at night. Not good. LSU -9 here. I'll take the Tigers at home. All right, let's talk some football with the NFL. Let's go into week 6 of the NFL in the London game. Let's pick up where we talked about on Wednesday with Adam Bjorn, where Adam was talking about the fact that there was the second biggest, most heavily bet game so far of the week, and that is Broncos at the Jets. The 0-5 Jets. The total is 43.5, which is somewhat too low on that. Number being 7.5 feels a little bit too high when it comes on this. How about this stat? The Jets will be the 7th team, 0-5 straight up or worse, to be sent internationally by the NFL. Those teams are 1-5 straight up and 2-4 against the number. If you're looking for a money line parlay option, the Broncos are not a bad team to jump in with. You want to look at a teaser option, the Broncos are not a bad team to jump in with. Highly unlikely the Jets are going to London to play better than what they have played so far this year, which is an 0-5 record and not a very impressive performance. 0 takeaways and an 0-5 record that has never happened before in the NFL to open a season. And if you're a Jets fan, you don't have a lot of hype and excitement. The Giants have some hype and some excitement. The Jets do not. The Rams are laying 7.5 at the Ravens. The total is 44.5. This stat from the Action Network is unbelievable. So if you want to lay it with the Rams, I don't mind it. Sean McVay and company, they've been very good on the road this in his history, and particularly going to the East Coast. Sean McVay has been very, very good. So I don't mind if you just straight up and say, we're going to take the road favorite here. As a 4-point road favorite, Sean McVay and the Rams are 16-0 straight up, winning by 14 points, 14.1 points per game. He's 9-7 though against the spread. So the Rams are going to win. The question is, will the Rams cover? This stat's unbelievable. Sean McVay as a road favorite of 4 or more points in a 6-point teaser is 15-0-1 with the Rams. 15-0-1. You have to tease this. It's a money line parlay option. You could take the Broncos and the Rams as a 2-leg. Yep, 100%. You beat me to it. There it is. Yes, that's your potential money line parlay if you want to do that. But you should tease it as well because you may get better odds depending on how it goes. But 15-0-1 as a 4-point or more road favorite, Sean McVay with the Rams. That's a crazy number. 15-0-1. Hold on. I'll tell you what to tease. Tease it down to 1.5. So you're pulling it down. 7.5. So Sean McVay to cover 1.5 is what we're teasing it down to on that. The Dallas Cowboys are laying 3 now on the road at Carolina. The total is 49. What is interesting about this game is that the pros are all over Carolina. Like, they are all over the Panthers. And it's kind of hard to argue given what we have seen from the Panthers at home this season. They really are two different teams. When they go on the road, they suck. But when they're at home, they're pretty good. And in the fourth quarter, they're 5-0 against the fourth quarter spread this year. The Panthers are playing better each quarter. They play better and better and better. Bryce Young has started 5 games in which he's played the second game of a homestand. He's 4-1 ATS. And Carolina is averaging 25.8 points per game in those matchups. They play much better, and it makes sense, right? You play at home back-to-back weeks. Here's the retort to that. Dak Prescott is 5-0 against the spread in the second game of a road trip in September and October. The Dallas Cowboys were on the road last week against the Giants, and they killed them. The Jets, not the Giants, the Jets, against the Jets, and they killed them. Now they're on the road again. Dak is 5-0 against the spread. The number's 3. Number's 3. I like Dallas to win the game. I'm not sure I want to lay 3 points. I think this number's right. I think they probably win by 3. I don't think they kill them. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm with you, Ish, on the over. Yep, absolutely. I like that. Go with the over. Dallas is a team that just watched the Eagles lose. They have to have some giddy up here. Again, Carolina has played very well at home. The defense for the Cowboys is not good. We expect Bryce Young to make some noise. Ted McMillan and company, they should run the ball. They should be able to throw. High-scoring game. This will be a game that I will watch, but I most likely will be on the over here on this. You're right. The Cowboys are going to cowboy. I'm not going to push back at anybody that tells me that Carolina wins. There's enough sharp money and professional money to tell me that there are some people with very good opinions on NFL football that are putting major money behind it, like the Panthers. In particular, home teams in the NFL this year have been dominant. Home dogs this year in the NFL have been unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable. So I don't mind that. Okay. I don't mind that. If you tell me Carolina outright or Carolina +3, I don't mind it. I just think Dallas finds a way to win. Maybe 2, maybe 1. Dallas just finds a way to win this football game on that. And then finally, the Seahawks are at the Jags. This is a pick 'em now. It's a pick. Total is 47.5. Now you go, well, Seahawks, man, what a road trip, right? They're going from Seattle, Washington to Jacksonville, Florida. That's about as far as, other than going to Miami or going to Tampa, those are the only real other 2 road trips further than what the Seahawks are going to go with Mike Macdonald. How about this? Mike Macdonald on the road is 9-1 straight up under Mike Macdonald. Like, that's ridiculous. And they're 6-3-1 against the number. 6-3-1 against the number. Okay. Small sample size, 2 seasons, right? Last year, this year. But Seattle's been really good on the road under Mike McDaniel. Not that great at home, but they've been great on the road this year. So Seattle, you can use them if you want. +6. We use them as a teaser. Give the Seahawks 6 points on the road against the Jags after their big win. Maybe a letdown spot for them. They beat the Chiefs on Monday night. Short week, let down. Seattle comes in. That defense really makes life difficult on Trevor Lawrence and company. Liam Cohen's 4-1. Can they handle success? Can they handle prosperity? Or maybe the Seahawks go in there and bring them down to earth a little bit. Give them a little bit of a little taste of what it's like to play football in the NFC West. I lean Seahawks. I do. I lean Seahawks against the Jags. I'm just not a very big fan. I'm not buying Jacksonville. Not yet. I'm not buying Jacksonville. Guys, if you're watching on the replay on Sports Grid Television, thank you for being here. Have a wonderful weekend. We're back on Monday to recap everything and talk about 2 Monday Night Football games. If you're watching live on X or YouTube or listening to the audio podcast, you guys don't move because you're getting more. We got picks to make. Just the picks on the other side with bonus time. Just the picks. All right, let's start tonight. I just have a principal play going tonight with Washington and Rutgers. 60.5. Number opened up at 59.5. It's been bet to 60.5, and it hasn't moved. These are Big Ten teams, right? This is Washington, who held Ohio State to 24 points, right? How many points is Rutgers scoring? Now, Washington's a 10 or 10.5 point favorite. I lean to Washington to win the game. Rutgers' defense is not what it used to be, but Washington's defense is. And this is just a pure principle. Under 60.5. It's just, you give me 60 points. This is a ridiculous number. Under 60.5 for Washington and Rutgers tonight in the Big Ten. Late night game out west in college football. In baseball, the number is 6. Kirby versus Skubal. Yes, the Tigers are most likely going to win this game. Yes. You play the whole year to get a game 5 in which you hand the baseball over to Tarik Skubal because he's the best pitcher in baseball. And you say, go win us a game that we have to have. But the Mariners are at home, and they were 51-30 at home, and they have beaten Skubal 4 straight times. Can they make it 5? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Seattle absolutely owns Skubal, owns him. So you play all year to have the best pitcher in baseball throwing. Okay. I'm just going under. I'm just going under. I agree. Tigers aren't scoring more than 3. Probably not. But how many runs are the Mariners scoring? 3-2 feels like the final. It was in game 2 when Kirby lost in extra innings to Skubal. 3-2 final. So I don't know. Would I rather see the Blue Jays versus Seattle or Blue Jays versus Detroit? It's a great question. Sorry, my shoulder's killing me. I would probably say if I'm Major League Baseball, I want Skubal around for as long as possible. And I also want Seattle with Cal Raleigh around for as long as possible. The Blue Jays are the team that you'd want to eliminate there. The Blue Jays are the Blue Jays are the one that you want out, but they're already in. So you're a little stuck. So I'd say Detroit, bigger market, East Coast time zone. So I'll say Detroit versus Toronto. You have 2 East Coast teams playing, Eastern time zone teams playing. But the American League side of things, now that the Dodgers have advanced, it's not great. It's not great. Major League Baseball is very concerned if the Dodgers were to lose to the Brewers and you could have a Seattle versus Milwaukee or a Toronto versus Milwaukee World Series. Yikes. That's not great. Under 6 tonight. And then to the weekend. I think the under 44.5 for Texas and OU. Wait, let's see what Mateer looks like. But if Mateer is not whipping the football around and he's like just sort of like he's playing, but he's not really playing as well as he could because of the injury, because of the thumb, if he can't grip the football that well, under. I don't think Texas scores much against Oklahoma anyway. So it's crazy. Red River always was an over. Automatic over for this one. Take the under. But wait, see how much. I mean, see if you can get 45.5. See how high this is going to go. So, I mean, if Mateer's out there throwing the football, we could see a higher number than that. But I like the under in the Red River. I'm laying the 3 with Alabama. I think Bama beats Missouri. I do. I think that they'll wind up just being the better football team. I think Bama's got more weapons. I think Ty Simpson's going to be, if Bama plays their A game, Alabama wins. To the NFL, we're going Colts laying 7 against Arizona. This is my survivor pick of the week. If you're looking for a survivor, I think the Colts are the survivor pick of the week after what happened last week to Arizona, the loss to the Titans. I don't think you just bounce back from that going on the road to face a face a Colts team that is absolutely humming. If the playoffs began today, the Colts will be the number 1 seed in the AFC. Kyler Murray on the road. Not great. Not great. We have a dome versus dome matchup. Since 2020, when 2 dome teams play, the under hits at 55%. 27-11 since the start of last year. So maybe you want to look at the under for the Cardinals and the Colts, but to me, this is tough. Cardinals led the Titans 21-6 entering the fourth quarter and lost the game. In the last 35 years, only 27 teams have played on the road after blowing a 14-point or more lead entering the fourth quarter. The next week, they're 10-17 straight up and 11-16 against the spread. So tough to rebound. Teams blowing a lead of more than one possession entering the fourth quarter at home, 12-22 straight up in their next game. I like Daniel Jones, home favorite. He's 3-0, one of only two quarterbacks in the NFL to be 3-0 at home. Give me Daniel Jones. Next play is a bit of a contrarian off the beaten path. I think Vegas is going to beat and cover against the Titans. I don't get the move. Everyone's betting the Titans. This number was 5.5. Now it's 3.5. If I get 3, I like it even more for the Vegas Raiders. This is a huge game for Vegas. They have got to win this game. They have absolutely have to win this game. They got blown out last week by the Colts. They need a bounce back spot desperately. A team with a win percentage below 40% and loses by 30 or more the next week, they cover at 59%. Teams this year are 3-0 against the spread in that situation, in that scenario. The Raiders play the Chiefs next week, okay? In the games leading up to the Chiefs matchup for the Raiders, they're 61-38-1 against the number, covering by over 2 points per game. They know they need to win because of who's going to be there next. Geno Smith, do me a favor, dude. Don't throw 3 picks. 2 home games, 6 interceptions for Geno Smith. That can't happen, okay? That can't happen. I think Vegas plays well. I think Vegas's defense rises up. I don't think the Titans will handle prosperity very well. First win ever for them, and they shouldn't have had it. It was a complete prayer. Second game of a road trip, back-to-back roadies, both to the West Coast for the Titans, and there are no real Titan fans coming to town for this. I'll lay it with Vegas. Vegas minus 3.5 against the Titans. And you guys were asking for a teaser. Rams minus 1.5. Steelers teased down from 6 to a pick. Pittsburgh at home against the Browns and facing a rookie quarterback. I get this, okay? There are some really crazy numbers on this. Mike Tomlin as a favorite of 4 points or more since 2017, he's 12-26-1 against the spread. That's the least profitable coach in the NFL currently. Even when Tomlin's on extended prep because they're off of a bye of more than a week, he's just 5-8-1 against the number. Dylan Gabriel is the 41st starting quarterback for the Browns since 1999. You're going up against Tomlin's defense. You're going up against a team that's rested. I'm sorry, you're going overseas. Dylan Gabriel's lost last week. 17 consecutive Browns quarterbacks have lost their first career start. The last time a winner in his first game did so with the Browns, 1995. The Browns have lost 21 consecutive regular season games to Pittsburgh. Their last win was done by Tim Couch in 2003. 2003. 21 straight. 21 straight. Make it 22 straight for the Browns and the Steelers. Steelers pick Rams minus 1.5. It's good stuff on that. Time for favorite thing about today. Favorite thing about today is I did the entire show without a harness on. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to go put it on right now because I'm in pain. But I was able to do it. I was able to do the whole show without having my arm in a sling, and I got to use my right hand to control everything and actually fire everything off. So I'm excited about being able to now use my right hand kind of. Like I can't lift my arm up that high. I can sort of like use it around a little bit on this, but it's a little issue on that. Indy Denver is a good teaser. Yeah, I do like that. I do like that teaser a lot. I like it as a money line parlay. I like it as a teaser. And then and I think you put the Rams in there as well. I mean, you can go Indy, Denver, Rams, do a 3-leg if you want. You could do, and I did this last weekend and it wasn't that bad. It was, I'm experimenting a bit more with 3-leg 7-point teasers versus 2-leg 6-point teasers to seeing what the odds are from a booked perspective. So that's another way to do that. 3-leg Indy, Denver, and the Rams. 3-leg 7-point teaser. You get the Rams to a 0.5 point, just win the game, and then you get Indy down to same bet, 0.5 point, and Denver comes down to all those are all those are 7.5 points. So you get them all down to a 0.5 point for a 3-leg 7-point teaser. So depends on what the books, different prices. The books really, really vary about what they give you from a price for 7-point teasers, for 3-leg 7-point teasers. Some of them will give you plus money. Some might give you plus money on that. So, just a situation. How bad's the pain 1 to 10? 2, 3 right now? I mean, I'm not like, oh my gosh, I'm in pain. It's more like I'm stiff. It's more like the shoulder just gets stiff when it's at an angle like that. Like I'm supposed to be like this. And so I'm having it straight out during the show for an hour and 15 minutes or so. So I just need to go do some things. Yes, Tyrone, a Titans win would be a very big surprise. Yes, would be a monster surprise. Absolute monster surprise. The Raiders aren't as bad as people think. The Raiders have played poorly, but they're not as bad. Okay? They're not as bad as people think. I think they win, take care of business on Sunday, coming up on that. So, favorite thing about today is we're on the road to recovery. We're on the road. As of Thursday, I'm out of the sling entirely. Come Thursday, I'm not wearing the thing anymore. I still have 6 days left of wearing the sling, but as of Thursday, I'm 6 weeks out of surgery, and the real rehab starts. We start really getting after it, starting after Thursday. So, we're going good. Guys, enjoy the weekend. It's an unbelievable sports weekend. October is so good. The weather is beautiful. I mean, great games tomorrow, great games tonight, great games tomorrow night, great games all day Sunday, and then on Monday, 2 Monday night football games to break down. If you haven't hit subscribe, please do so for us. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do so as well. Leave a comment, help support the show. Appreciate each and every one of you. Enjoy the weekend. We'll be on the Discord channel, thebvbshow.com, throughout the entire weekend. Picks, plays, thoughts, breakdown, all sorts of fun stuff. Talk to you on the Discord channel, and then talk to you on Monday for another episode of the Bostonian versus the Book.